It's been all about China as the world's second largest economy struggles to find growth. Should China consider getting on some form of a gold standard? Joining us today is Ken Hoffman of Bloomberg Intelligence. Ken, thanks so much for joining us in studio.
Thanks for having me.
So Chinese officials are trying to convince the world here that they can get out of this financial rut. Kitco coming out today saying that the yuan could even head lower. What are your thoughts?
China is quite the mess. There's no other way about it. They have had a very hard landing in the commodity space. There's no question about that. They can sprinkle all the 7% growth pixie dust they want on the Chinese economy. It doesn't exist. In fact, we see most metal demand down significantly. And at the same time, they have a currency problem. They have been spending a lot of their foreign exchange. They probably spent, between 700 and 900 billion. And even though they started with 4 trillion, it's whittling away very, very fast. And it's a problem that the market realizes, and China's having a very hard time containing.
Now, Ken, you came out with a report today that's really interesting. You explored the idea of whether China should get back on some sort of a gold standard. Now, why do you see this as a solution here?
Well, about a year ago, we started to explore whether or not China should be on a gold standard and what were the possibilities. And at the time, we pretty much said, look, there's not enough gold in the world to back all of China's yuan. However, they have a problem with their M2 money supply. So, when the financial crisis occurred, China, which at the time, 2006, 2007, had about half the money supply of the United States, started printing money and started printing money like crazy. Today, if we look at it, China has about double the amount of money supply of the United States, even though their economy is much, much smaller. At the same time, for a while they were protected because they have a protected currency. But remember, they just joined the SDR. They're trying to flood this currency into the world economy as they're a major economy. And traders are saying this doesn't work at all, and they're killing the value of the yuan.
So do you think it could be possible? Might this happen, or is this just a theory you would like?
What I think they could do is they need to soak up some of that M2. And one of the proposals that we've even talked to officials in China about this is that they come out with a gold-backed yuan note, much like the United States had silver-backed notes, where they can soak up some of that M2 capital. They have to do something with the excess capital, except, or else you're going to see the yuan devalue, devalue, devalue. As a matter of fact, on like an economics 101 parity basis, the yuan should be something like 15 to 20 to the dollar, not the 6.5 to 7 that people are talking about. How the Chinese are able to soak up that yuan, if they want to have an international currency, I probably wouldn't want to have an international currency if I were them, but if they did, this could make sense for them.
Do you think we'll be hearing from China's central bank as to whether they're buying more gold anytime soon? We haven't heard from them a few months now.
Well, I think they put out a number in December. They continue to add, but if you talk to the Chinese, they'll always tell you they have 3 pots of gold. They have the PBOC number, which is what is visible, but there are also, the military has some gold from what we understand, and the central government has some gold that they do not have to tell the rest of the world how much that is. So they could be sitting on a very significant amount of gold.
Okay, so on the note of gold, let's talk about the metal and the start it's had since the start of this year. How do you see gold playing out the first quarter?
I think last time I was on, I had said if the Chinese yuan has problems, gold's going to like it. The Chinese yuan is having problems, and of course, gold is liking it. The Chinese economy has major problems, and gold is liking that. We put out a note in Russian ruble terms. If I'm in Russia and I bought gold in 1980, I'm up 20,000% in ruble terms because the ruble's gone from 1 to, I think it's like 70 something right now. The Chinese are aware that inflation could creep in with all this money printing they have, so they are buying a lot of gold themselves. They are the world's largest buyer of gold out there. When that sort of supersedes the fears of interest rates rising in the US, that's very good for gold.
All right, so bullish gold, Ken?
Well, we're just saying right now you can see why the trends for gold are bullish. And again, I'll keep coming back to it. China,
okay.
China, China.
All right, Ken, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for watching this edition of Kitco's Gold Report. We'll see you this week.